Good morning, everybody. It's Dave Neal here on this February 24th, 2025, the final Monday morning of February, the most depressing month of the year. So if we can make it through today, we got this, everybody. And I got a lot of stories to get to. Walmart's sales are sagging, which could be a very bad indicator for the economy. I'll share that. And who is the next Bachelorette rumored to be? But they canceled the season this year. So what does that even mean? I'll share what Almost Famous Podcast had to say. And the HR complaint from Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni, the mess of a century. The HR complaint that was apparently filed by Jenny Slate, now they're taking that story back. There's actually been 3 different versions of The Hollywood Reporter shared, and I've got all of the versions for you. I'm going to share the discrepancies, the differences, and what the heck is going on with this case. Plus, I've also got Jenny Slate sharing a very bizarre podcast clip where she admitted to hitting her boyfriend at the time, Chris Evans. What is he? Captain America? What's his name? Superman? What is he? You guys know who he is. And then I got a clip from the SAG Awards, which was last night. Did anybody watch? I doubt it, but I'll share a clip for you so you feel like you're in the know. I got a lot to get into. All these stories and more coming up next on The Rush. Why don't we start this episode off with a friendly shout out to the 2 lovely ladies who came to my stand-up show last night, Lindsay and Mary Beth, both Rush Hour listeners. Thanks for supporting live entertainment. Isn't it nice to start the week off with a laugh? If you want to come to a show, I'm redoing my website, so I'll have all the dates of where I'll be. But for right now, just follow me on Instagram. It's right there at DNealz, DNEALZ, and I'll have an update for you when that all comes. You know, I'll post the shows that are worth posting. Okay, how about this? Did you guys know the story that the Yankees, historically, the baseball organization, has made their players shave? They've only allowed clean shaven players. Well, now I guess they're getting with the times. All these hipsters out there with the beards. They've now got a press conference saying we're going to start allowing groomed beards.
You know, our new vice president has a beard. Members of Congress have a beard. The list goes on and on and on in this country and in this world. It is a part of who these younger men are. It's a part of their character. It's a part of their persona. I did make the decision that the policy that was in place was outdated.
Wow, big decisions out there at Yankee Stadium, to shave or not to shave. By the way, they've had facial hair before. Wasn't J-Lo Aaron Rodriguez's beard? Okay.
And given how important it is to that generation, and given that it is the norm in this world today, that it was somewhat unreasonable.
Alex Rodriguez. That's my fault. Okay, I had to Google it real quick. I was like, Aaron Rodriguez. I tried to make a joke and I messed it up. All right, how about this? Investors are spooked about Walmart sagging prices. What does this mean for you? Well, Walmart's an indicator. If the economy's not doing well, it's, people aren't going to go to Walmart. Well, my first thought is shame on Walmart for not, for jacking up their prices, corporate inflation. But here's the results of that.
Doesn't mean a recession, but it does indicate that trouble may be coming. And the stock lost over 6.5%. This spooked investors yesterday. And you think about it, Walmart is considered a bellwether for the American consumer. And 90% of Americans live within 10 miles of a Walmart. They focus on low prices. They sell need-to-have items. They are the nation's largest grocer. If Walmart says, quote, we are in an uncertain time, that is a potential red flag. And then you zoom out, you couple this with the retail sales numbers that we got for January. Biggest drop we've seen in 2 years. And then the data that we're getting on how consumers feel about inflation, they think inflation is going to be above 4% within a year.
Now, look, I'm not like a fear monger. I don't want the economy to be going in the wrong direction. I got money in the stock market, a couple bucks. I want our country to thrive. This is not good. This is not good. So again, we'll have to see how it all plays out. I'm one of those ride or die guys. I'm not retiring anytime soon. So, but I'll say this about the stock market. They have had plenty of experts say that for the last several years, it has been very much overvalued and hasn't been this big of a bubble since 1929. I'm not saying there's going to be some Great Depression. I'd like to think that there are guardrails in place to keep that from happening. But when consumers get nervous, they start holding on to all their money. This might happen. We'll have to see how it all goes. All right, well, here's your Bachelor news. Almost Famous podcast. And you guys, I haven't been covering much Bachelor news because, good golly, has it been slow in the Bachelor world. But here we have Almost Famous podcast discussing who was in the rumors to be the next Bachelorette before it was essentially canned. Maybe not for the year, but at least until the fall.
We're thinking about also giving Rachel Recchia a redo. They said that her name was floated around.
Love it.
But there is a reason that she couldn't do it.
But we do know the reason.
I would have loved to see Rachel have her own season.
What we know so far is Maria, Rachel, two girls from Grant's season were being considered for the lead of The Bachelorette. It sounds like from our source that Maria was the front runner, that it felt like the powers that be really wanted Maria to be the lead of this season.
And you know, one of the things that Maria wanted was her cell phone, and they historically take away your phone, but it's like, look, get with the times. If the Yankees can start allowing beards, maybe The Bachelor can start allowing cell phones. They say, well, it's going to lead to not as good drama. Yeah, but you've got good contestants that don't want to be there. Just like the Yankees had good folks with mustaches that were like, I'll go play for the Red Sox. You know what I mean? So it's just like, step it up a little, pay them a little bit more, don't treat them terrible, and maybe you'll get better quality candidates. Speaking of treating terrible, check this article out over the weekend. Deadline posted this. Inside the toxic culture of the Bachelor franchise as crew deals with fallout of Bachelorette pause. Extent of executive producer exits revealed. So in this giant story, they talk about the decision for Jen Tran, the last Bachelorette, to sort of let her watch her breakup happen live. And they said, we're going to cut to this. And she said, do I have a choice? And everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Well, it all seems like that came down to one producer's decision, and maybe they flew a little too close to the sun. This Bachelor in Paradise season will have a different producer that's coming from outside the network. Could be a good thing. You might say like, oh, what's the big deal? Well, these showrunners, the head producer, they're in charge of the tone of the show, and they can bring that energy to create a lot of drama or good vibes. And I think what the show needs is, some drama, but create the good vibes where they have a great time. Maybe they'll let their guard down, and maybe it'll make good for good TV. All right, last Bachelor clip. Here's Almost Famous again discussing Hannah Brown and her bizarre agreement with her fiance, where they're going to move out of their houses before they get married. Have a listen.
Well, Hannah Brown is one of your best friends. She had a big headline out there recently that she and her fiance are no longer living together. Can you give us a little insight into that?
I've got so many messages from people. I think Adam, her fiance, and her have just been really diving into their faith a lot more. I have never seen a lighter, brighter Hannah in my life.
Does that mean that they're withholding until the wedding?
I think so.
It would be weird to just be like, we'll live in separate houses, but we'll still sleep together. Yeah. And I guess Matt James is off the list, right? Is he going to be at Hannah's wedding? Do they still have a friendship?
All right, so it goes on. Look, I'm gonna start by prefacing this. What Hannah Brown wants to do with her body is none of my business. But this is something they wanted to talk about. So I'm not criticizing it. I'm just sharing my opinion. I think it's weird. Her and her fiance lived together, now are moving apart, and then will live together when they get married again. I know I'm going to get messages from religious people being like, Dave, you just don't understand. Okay, I just think in relationships, you have to sort of trend in one direction. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, if you took that step to move in early on, you move from there. But moving backwards, when I got sick a few months ago, I slept in the guest bedroom, which is on a different floor. And it's because I was sick and we didn't want the baby exposed to any. And I felt like I was cheating on my wife. I was like, I'm in a different part of the house. I can look at TikToks without the volume all the way down. I was like, this is fantastic. My question is, maybe Hannah Brown's guy isn't going to want to get married after living by himself. I mean, I'm kind of jealous of him, to be honest. He's probably got musky leather chairs and Diet Coke ready to go. I mean, it sounds like a blast. All right, invite me over. Come on, let's hang out. Let's watch some sports. I live with him now. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. We're coming back with Jenny Slate and the Blake Lively drama. That is next. If you were saying, Dave, I wish you would tone down the Blake Lively content, I'm sorry, that's not happening anytime soon. So if you're not educated on the topic, you might as well go dive in full head first. I've got this story I'm going to be sharing right now. And then after this, I've got a story that involves me getting threatened with a massive lawsuit from a lawyer. Stick around for that. I'm doing that on a separate video. If you follow the Clayton nonsense, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to share how that might be relevant to the Blake Lively crowd. And also, I've got some guys, Dana Carvey and David Spade from Saturday Night Live, discussing what it was like with Blake Lively being at their event and also their thoughts on the whole take. So I'll have those videos separately, plus a lot more. There's a lot to get into. But right now, Jenny Slate filed her HR complaint while filming It Ends With Us due to being uncomfortable or due to an uncomfortable interaction. So said this report. But everyone found it very odd because there was really no harassment at all. She essentially was asking for an extra $15,000 to get out of her deposit because she didn't like the place she stayed at. Anyway, I'm going to share with you what the edits were. It might be due to Blake's camp, or it might just be that the Hollywood Reporter really messed up. Either way, the Hollywood Reporter came out with this story right here. It was a pretty wild story over the weekend. We covered it, Justin Baldoni's Leap of Faith. But in this story, we had Jenny Slate sharing a very odd encounter, and some were wondering, was this the HR complaint they were talking about? So Blake Lively said the Hollywood Reporter should be ashamed of itself. Framing in the picture is outrageously insulting as it plays into every sexist trope about women who dare file a workplace complaint. Okay, we got that part. But here's the interesting part. And this was posted by No Filter with Zach, as you guys know. Zach is my boy. Zach and I just met this week, actually, covering the case, and we did each other's podcast. That's the sandbox thing that you do. And by the way, later today, I'll be interviewing several lawyers that you might want to hear from that have been covering Baldoni and Lively. Leave a comment if you want to guess who that is. I'll be doing theirs. They'll be doing mine. It's a whole melee of content coming your way. But either way, No Filter with Zach made this post sharing the original and then the rewrite, but now we've got the original, then the rewrite, and back to the original. Here's what he had to say. The Hollywood Reporter has added an editor's note claiming the changes, which I've counted now to 4 different versions in the last 2 days regarding Jenny Slate's complaints to Sony, were due to a technical glitch with their website. They regret that error. Well, maybe Blake suing Justin Baldoni was just a technical glitch. Did you ever think of that? Can we just claim technical glitch whenever something doesn't go right? Sorry, honey, I meant to make love to you. I didn't realize it would be so short. It was a technical glitch. Just a real thing. Okay, was that too far for a Monday? The story has been updated to provide additional context regarding Ari Emanuel's quotes about Lively and Baldoni. Due to a technical glitch, a portion of the story regarding Jenny Slate reverted to an earlier unedited version and has since been updated. The Hollywood Reporter regrets the error. By the way, did I not mention this a couple days ago where I said the Hollywood Reporter is pretty shoddy? Well, here you go. Here's version 1 about Jenny Slate, who was in the movie with Blake Lively and was rumored to be one of the people that had an HR complaint against Justin Baldoni. As we find out, not exactly the case. Version 1. Apparently, he made the offer, and again, this is Justin Baldoni's producing partner, Jamie Heath. Apparently, he made the offer using language that made Jenny Slate so uncomfortable. Sources say he focused so intensely on the sanctity of motherhood and Slate's role as a mother that she filed a complaint to the film's distributor, Sony, about the incident. A spokesperson for Slate did not return multiple requests for comment. Version 2. But apparently he made the offer using language that made Slate so uncomfortable, sources say he focused intensely on the sanctity of motherhood and Slate's role as a mother that word got back to Sony, the film's distributor. According to sources, Sony then informed Wayfair about it. A spokesperson for Slate did not return multiple requests for comment. So that version came out, and then this version came back out. Sources say he focused intensely on the sanctity of motherhood and Slate's role as a mother, that she filed a complaint to the film's distributor, Sony, about the incident. A spokesperson for Slate did not return multiple. Either way, the one thing that is clear that she has not returned any of their phone calls. But word got back to Sony versus a complaint was filed. Which one is it, folks? And because this is going to be a big difference. If someone filed, there's a fourth version. If someone filed a complaint, that can be used in the trial. We might not be able to see it, but at least there'll be some time-stamped evidence of something nefarious happening. Version 4. Apparently, he made the offer using language that made Slate uncomfortable. Sources say he focused intensely on the sanctity of motherhood and Slate's role as a mother. According to sources, Sony became aware of Slate's Slate's concerns and informed Wayfair about them. A spokesperson for Slate did not return multiple requests for comment. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine being like, hey, there's a complaint against you. What'd you do to this Jenny Slate character? And you're like, I gave her $15,000. Like, should I give her 20? Was this a negotiation? I really don't know. So either way, technical glitch, that son of a technical glitch is pretty wild stuff. So it's bringing into light Jenny Slate and that she might not be a good person. This really doesn't have much to do with it, but interesting that she sort of admits to hitting her boyfriend. Let's just have a listen to this before we make any judgments.
I have never hit anybody as much as I hit Chris. And when I came back,
who's the one that instigates it?
I don't know what it was, but I never hit anybody in my life.
So it sounds like she's serious because they're saying who instigated it, and she's like, oh, me. So it's like, this doesn't sound like a bit. This was on Anna Faris's podcast. Now, some folks think it's okay to hit a man because he's bigger and stronger. I tell you what, it's a two-way street, right? No one should be putting hands on anybody unless it's some consensual kink that you got there. But I don't want to start any technical glitches.
And then I met Chris. I love it.
Here right now. You
Dear listeners,
him on the face.
I slapped him so much. I love him.
We have a. Where's that? GIF? I need them to sign release forms.
I hit him so much. I came back from making our movie and hit some of my friends because I was so used to just hitting Chris all the time, and a couple of my friends were like, you know what? We really don't like it. And I hit my husband and he was like, nobody likes that. Like, you shouldn't hit people. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. There's only one person.
You know your own strength because you're a strong dude. You're like Lenny from Of Mice and Men.
The other thing, no, is that I realized he was letting me do it.
Oh, don't worry. He was letting her do it. Okay, look. I don't know what's going on there. I think he was in the room with them. I guess they were married. So I'm just going to say, if he didn't file any complaints and if he doesn't want to talk about it, there's really nothing else to say about it. Yikes. But either way, what a wild, where are they casting these people? All right, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break. I'm going to come back with some words of Jamie Heath, this guy that they talk about, because they keep saying like, oh, well, he made her feel so uncomfortable. What's this guy like? We don't know a thing about him. That coming next. Well, here's a clip from the We Are Man Enough podcast on daddy issues, and they called Jamie Heath's daughter to get her to vouch for him. This is a couple years old, but it's actually, it's really emotional to hear what his daughter had to say. Now, that doesn't mean he's not guilty of whatever Jenny Slate is accusing, but I tell you what, it sounds like a big nothing burger without any receipts given. Have a listen.
I wonder how my daughter might speak of me. In fact, live. Hello, baby girl. Tell me 3 things I did right and 3 things I could have done better.
I feel like I'm the woman I am today, and I have such a positive outlook on myself because of you. And I feel safe in my own body, and I feel safe with you because of what you were teaching me at a young age, reminding me that my body is my body and that it's sacred and it's precious, and how much you advocated for just women in general. I saw how you treated my mom, even though you were divorced. You did nothing but treat her like a queen. Things were rough at times, and I saw that too. But within each argument and within each moment of frustration, I saw you handle that with such love towards her, even if it was just for me to be able to witness that. And what you could have done better.
Okay, gotta go. Sorry.
How funny. So, so there's a Man Enough podcast. I guess Jamie Heath was maybe guest hosting. You could recognize Liz Plank there, the ex-friend of Justin Baldoni. Just a wild story. It's very interesting to get into the universe of this story and sort of pick it apart. And I don't mean this with any judgment whatsoever, but it's just fascinating in this era to see everything fall apart and then slowly get built back together, as it seems. Pretty wild stuff. All right, and by the way, stick around, make sure you're subscribed. Let's get to 125,000 subscribers. I've got at least 2 more Blake Lively videos coming today, maybe 3. So here's a wild story from TMZ I'm following. Michael Lohan, arrested for assault, that's Lindsay Lohan's father, allegedly got physical with Kate Major. So he gets arrested. I have no idea who Kate Major is. I guess it's his girlfriend. He was arrested on Saturday in Texas on a felony assault charge called continuous violence against the family. I guess that's the name of the charge. Here's his update. He tells TMZ, I've shut up long enough about Kate's physical, emotional, and verbal abuse. She set me up. Originally, she said I was stalking her. Really? LOL. Then, when that didn't work, she said I pushed her over a chair, which is a total lie. Not only will my kids attest to it, but I have video. I have more videos of her abuse. All right, well, that's ugly. I have no reason to trust him. I know nothing about him other than he seemed like a shitty dad to Lindsay Lohan. But if he says he's got video, I mean, we'll just give you updates as they come. But I don't think that'll be a story that I'll be diving into anytime soon. All right, let's end on a relatively better note than that. I'm going to cover Kieran Culkin, who, by the way, I don't want to like this guy. This is the guy who drank the Diet Pepsi or whatever in Home Alone, the kid, right? And he was a bedwetter. He's Macaulay Culkin's younger brother in real life. And I don't know. He's kind of sassy, you know? He's always joking around. He's the type to me that seems like he just sort of fell into success. I don't know. Maybe he just plays it off aloof. But I have to say, I did find this level of ADHD very relatable here, as he couldn't get through his speech because he was too, I guess, concentrating on how heavy the trophy was. Let's have a listen to this.
Oh my gosh. Wow, that is, wow. Thank you, SAG-AFTRA, for this incredibly heavy award. That's why they put the thing here, I guess, right? I don't think there's any way anyone can hold this for 45 seconds, which is the allotted time, Adrian Brody, 45 seconds. It is funny that the heaviest of all awards is the one that's given by actors. It's like, you know, us, what we do. Means so much. You can see like the meeting of actors. There's like it needs more weight. Anyway. All right, moving on. I see the clock ticking. Moving on. There's one actor in the back that raises his hand and uses the word heft just to like be seen. All right. I gotta say something here. Believe it or not, this actually means a lot to me. It does.
And so he forgets to thank his agent, his wife, his kids, God, whatever. Either way, and now we know those SAG trophies are heavy. I mean, do they got to check them in their luggage? What do you do with those things? Is it a weapon? Is it a self-defense weapon? You leave it on your mantle? I don't know. Whatever. Maybe the weight wasn't supposed to be heavy. Maybe it was a technical glitch, right? Who knows what went down?
When the customer wants it and when we should be making it. And the number one request actually is, let me pick what time I can come pick up my beverage.
So in a year, will mobile order be fixed?
I sure hope so. Or at a minimum, we will be a lot better than where we are today.
Fixing the algorithm to better sequence the order of drinks is vital. In early 2024.
By the way, listen to Wall Street Journal try to make this serious. Switching the way we do the drinks is vital. We need our customers.
In-app demand and complex drinks caused 1 in 8 users to abandon orders due to wait time.
1 in 8 users abandoned their orders due to long wait times, leaving 1 in 8 people very upset. Starbucks claimed it was a technical glitch.
Why are shorter wait times so important for turning around Starbucks?
Customers are finding, oh, wow, I have more time to enjoy my beverage in store, and more people are selecting to get it in a ceramic mug now, and then just take a moment in our stores, which that's the experience we want.
Imagine, right? Here's a CEO. He's getting paid God knows what, $30 million a year, private jets to commute from Seattle to LA for work. And all we want is healthcare for all. You know, it's like, sure, I will, and not to say it's one versus the other, but it's like, these are the things we're thinking about. Late stage capitalism. How can we suck more money out of it? I bought 2 Starbucks the other day. The total was $15. One was a cold brew. That's not expensive. The $15. Are you kidding me? Forget the having it ready and investing all your money into the app. Make the drinks a little bit more affordable. What the hell are you doing out there? All right, Celsius is only $1.50. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? I'm a Celsius boy now. All right, that's the episode. You guys get your Starbucks or your Celsius. Do whatever you need to do. I'll be back this afternoon to wrap up all the other news we didn't get to. We'll see you then. I'm Dave Neal. This is The Rush.